in RTXK. Wow. He had been
before me.
Well, yes. He spent a few years away, but soon afterwards he came back. And back for more! That's his famous phrase!
That's punishment. What are you going to say now, eh?
Yeah, we're going to miss him for his wonderful voice and his professional baritone voice, wonderful delivery. And we miss him in particular, his humor. His wonderful humor. Every night when he comes to work, well, when he's on a late shift, he would say, "Good evening, wise men and oracle from north, east and west." It cheers everybody up. We're gonna miss him, and we want to say, well, we're gonna get him to say a few words, but a little gift to him. This is a card on behalf of all colleagues.
Oh, I say, thank you very much indeed.
To you, and there's a letter from Director of Broadcasting.
Good gracious.
It's
a form. It's a bit about the pension, right? Bad news.
Absolutely. And there's a little gift for you.
Oh, I say, thank you. Thank you.
All of us.
Well, may I say, thank you, James, for those very, very kind words, and thank you for this this gift. I better open it and see what it is. I believe it's. I do know what it is actually.
Yes.
I think it's. Yes, it's going to be difficult to open. Actually, it's going to be one of these things. Yes, it's very well done. Yes.
Very well concealed.
Dad, careful.
Here we go.
It's a ring light.
Amazon.
Fantastic.
Is it a Kindle?
Yes.
It's just an empty box.
Just an empty box.
It's an empty box.
It's a nice thing.
Sorry, you
Great.
failed
Open
the
the ball.
test.
What?
Solid class.
It's an IQ test. You're over the hill. Open the box. Take the money. Open the box. And the card, well, I shall have to study this card very carefully and get my lawyers to go through it and see if there's anything. And,
There might be some comeback here.
have a quick look. Oh, yes, very good. Yes. It says here, this really sucks. I don't know what they're referring to. No idea. Can't be anything that's
Musical, yes.
Anyway, thank you all very much for taking the time to be here, for giving us this wonderful send-off. Not quite sure where we're going to be sent off to, but when we get there I'll send you a postcard. And it's an honour to be sharing this evening with Francis Moriarty, who's a very professional colleague and an excellent broadcaster.
He's doing some selfies.
Very busy recording every word I say.
Every word. It's going to be consulting tomorrow.
As James said, I've been had long association with Hong Kong since 1973. Actually, when I first came. Wow. When I first arrived, Bruce Lee was still alive and kicking, literally. And my first job was actually in one of these kung fu comedies with Lydia Sharp. Wow. Called Adventure in Denmark. And then I went on to work for the Hong Kong Standard, and there were more movies, and then eventually started working for RTHK. I did news reading, continuity announcing, documentaries for other companies, voiceovers, the whole broadcasting gamut, really. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've been sub-editing for the past 22 years, and I've had a great time, lots of laughs, great colleagues. I'm going to miss you all very, very much. And I think you've all been very kind to me. I've learned a lot from you over the years. I'll never forget it. And in my retirement, well, I'm going to be gardening in the Philippines. Here, maybe I'll do a few voiceovers. And I'm also going to go to England quite regularly to annoy the people who thought they were safe when I left. I'm going to go back, see what's going on, and see if I can, renew old acquaintances. If I would be to remember for one thing, I'd say Warwick Evans, he was a good sub-editor, as sub-editors go, and as all good sub-editors go, he went.
Well, as Warwick would say, they are queuing at the Siberian salt mines just to come to work at RTXK. So, cheers to Warwick.
Cheers.
Time and the South Horizon.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Francis.
Moving on. Thank you. Now let's. Francis.
back.
Well, Francis Moriarty. Well, before I got to know Francis, I met his colleague at Metro Radio, and he said, that guy, his nickname is Ban Zeiyan. In Chinese is, in simple terms, he annoys you until you drop dead. Well, it's true, he can be quite annoying at times. But, having said that, his persistence and annoyance is actually an asset for RTXK because he insists in getting the sound bites we want. And that's what we want at RTXK, and getting the government officials to say what they're supposed to say. And Francis is brilliant. And he pushes and he nag and force officials to say what they're supposed to say. And that's exactly what journalists are supposed to do. And I'm sure young journalists will be learning from him. And remember this very important advice is don't give up. Keep pushing, that's your purpose. That's our job as journalists in getting the sound bites we want from government officials, because government officials just want to keep their mouth shut. That's if journalists don't ask questions. And Francis is brilliant at that. And we admire him for his brilliant commentary. And I always remember the commentary he makes during a protest outside the old CGO when there were demonstrators outside. And he described in vivid terms how police use pepper spray to try to stop demonstrators. And recently, on his last interview with Mike, the Scheming Scout, he
My brother is
you come in the right time.
Don't let me interrupt.
Right. This is
My brother.
this is Francis Brandon.
And his wife.
That's his in-law.
Two chairs. We'll pack
Yeah, sure.
down here. That's fine.
And
Just in time.
just in time. And Francis Francis described during an interview without screaming skull. That's the word. No. He described the way that China tries to control political ideas as bonsai plants. This is amazing. Is that right, Francis? Yeah. Brilliant description. Bonsai plants. That's how he describes political proposals or political ideas. Brilliant description.
Bonsai plants are beautiful.
Yeah, but then they're contained. They can't grow.
Beautiful.
Their roots are trimmed.
If they weren't shaped like that, they'd just be a complete mess. So I don't know what you're
Well,
talking
that's
about.
what politics is supposed to be. Anyway, to keep my story short, we're gonna miss Francis a lot because his brilliant skills we're gonna be missing at RTXK. Francis, here you go.
Thank you very much.
We'll get you to say something.
Thanks for coming, everybody, and my family here as well. Let me just clarify that story and tell you the background of it before I say anything more.
The best bit at the end.
During the early days of negotiations between the British and the Chinese over the transfer of Hong Kong, they would refer to Hong Kong as being a precious vase. Okay, so I'll speak louder. During the early days of the Sino-British discussions on handing over Hong Kong, the negotiators for both sides would refer to Hong Kong as being a precious vase. Okay? But ultimately they decided that this precious vase that they were passing back and forth to each other, and someone reminded them that there are actually living people in Hong Kong. It's not just it's not just
An
a
empty
precious
vessel.
object. So they said, oh, that's right. So I guess it should be a precious plant in a precious vase. So they began passing back and forth the precious plant, which I find obnoxious on about every level that you can think of, as a description of 5 and 6 to 6 million people and what was going to happen to them. So I said that in terms of the proposals that are coming forth for what passes for universal suffrage, it makes me think of this idea of the plant, but I think of it as a bonsai plant, because it's not something that's growing in a natural way. It's something that's being artificially shaped to represent what somebody thinks is an aesthetic object, but it's not. It's just not a natural flowering of this precious plant. So that was my background. I think there's something fitting about having us come to a restaurant that's named after the highest, most inaccessible mountains in the world. You know, RTHK working there every day is a bit sometimes like, well, it's been likened to a salt face, but it's also a bit like climbing up scree where you go 2 steps forward and you slide 1 step back and you're.
Sisyphean, I think.
Yeah, there, I think you're right. There we are. Yes. If you like arithmetic, consider that you can work this problem out. Between Warwick and me, we have worked at RTHK more than 60 years, and he's worked twice as many years as I have. So you can kind of work that out. And it says something about how much RTHK truly appreciates our contributions. That before either one of us had actually finished our duty, they had replaced the locks and changed the door codes. So there'll be no chance of our coming back, even if we were so inclined. But I'm glad the people of Hong Kong have all of you producing the service that you do for the people of Hong Kong, even though I think in many ways now RTHK doesn't deserve you. We should be a public broadcaster. We should be what somebody said we couldn't be. But we know what we are, we know what we want to do, we know and you know what the values of RTHK are. You know what your service to the community can be, and the community needs it now as much as they've ever needed it, if not more. So it's been great working with all of you. I hope that in typical RTHK fashion, perhaps Warwick and I can be hired as consultants and come back at double the pay. They're showing how they could get a savings by kicking us out. I'll miss you all, but it's not like I'm going away. I'm around. Unlike Warwick, who's going to be here, there, and everywhere. I'm going to be staying around Hong Kong. I may be going back for a reunion, a student reunion back in the United States. I'm reaching the scary numbers of 50th high school reunion. Wow. And while most of us are still alive and can recognize each other, I think it's a good time to go back and see everybody. So I'll be here. I'm in Discovery Bay over in the resort. If any of you ever wants to come over, relax, and look at the palm trees and have a beer, please. And Steve, I may be seeing you.
You'll be seeing me very soon because you just offered beer at your place. Sooner than you thought.
I'll see you on the radio, as someone was said. So anyway, thanks, but not goodbye. Just till the next time. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good health, happy retirement. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. You want a cassette machine? Ladies and gentlemen, can I interrupt the proceedings all of a sudden? Improvise. Excuse me a second.
How unlikely.
So here was the deal. It suddenly occurred to me that Francis was... Why? Warwick, I wasn't sure what he was going to be doing prior to this evening. Francis is going to be around. Come on the radio program this afternoon. Come on, let's do a proper... I was buzzed with this idea of getting him on the radio and just talking about Hong Kong. So he's busy. It was a ridiculous idea. It's not going to happen. But he is going to come onto the show at some point, and we want to do that, right? That's good. Had you come onto the show, and had it been possible, then I started thinking, oh Christ, Warwick should have been on the... because I've known Warwick since the early 80s, I've known Francis since the mid-80s, we've worked together, madness all the way. So I brought my cassette machine to play you what I would have played you on the radio this afternoon. If this works. So So let's go back to 1997.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the stock market.
Desert Island Dreams. My guest this week is the Governor, Chris Patton. Let me first start off by asking you, if you were to be cast away alone on a desert island somewhere in the South China Sea, which 8 legislative councillors would you take with you?
Good evening and welcome to Compilation. Well, it's been yet another week of murder, rape, robbery and blackmail. But enough of my own personal life. Let's get back to the program.
Space.
It's my favourite bit.
The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to seek out new joint ventures in China. To boldly go where no sensible businessman has gone before.
Well, for more on that, we're now joined in our central studio by RTHK's political correspondent, Francis Moriarty.
Let's just back up a little bit. Ironically, deja vu all over again. Elite minorities, cobbled coalition, design a camel that can pass through the eye of the needle, and we all know that a camel is a horse designed by a committee. I'm making myself clear. If it's Tweedledum, Tweedledee, and Tweedledah, they just don't see the Hong Kong dream. Some people may simply be too old. I own the Acme Dog Food Company, and I don't like your paper because you did a piece about my dog food. Once you ring a gong, you're not going to unring it. Can you design a system through which the camels can squeeze? Even as I try to explain this, I sense eyes glazing over in the early morning. I wish I could assist you on this point. Oops, in there. If you just do simple math. You not only have tails wagging dogs, but the last few hairs on the tail wagging the tail that wags the dog.
I'm sorry, I just can't go on.
Your MP3s are in the mail.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
What do we do after this? Yes, round of applause for Steve. Write a reply to Francis?
No way you can see the reply to that.
All that stuff is
The
on your
last time
website.
somebody gave me a gift from RTHK, it was a photograph looking like Raphael Hoy and I were about to French kiss. I hope that's not repeated in here.
I'm fascinated, tell me more. You don't know about this? That's a good one.